The chances are still there. 6-1 in favor for Imperium. Impunity sent out Rickardo, and Imperium still helming. The fort there is Demente, of course. And we are moving forward into this game. Very happy to be here today. My name is Babael, and I hope you guys enjoy this cast. And yeah. So that's it. It would be one of the classes that's still available for Impunity to use here. It's either the warrior, the shaman, or the priest. I highly doubt it's going to be a priest, but again, I have been wrong before on so many occasions, because Kiro, based on the last few standoff, he did run priest and it was surprisingly okay. So not much of a complaints there whatsoever. Just glad that, you know, everything can run out well. So that's it. Yes, it is the priest up against that of Demente's still shaman. And I'm gonna change the screen a bit just so you guys can see both sides. Should be fine. And that's it. The priest, I don't really know what kind of weapon the priest has that is very beneficial against the shaman. All I know is that the priest should be exceptionally good with Thought Steel, etc. Probably can set up very good defenses up against the shaman, but looking at this, it does not seem like it's a mind priest. And there is Thought Steel there, but not enough mana for that yet. And it seems like it's a pretty early Flame Tongue Totem there. We're seeing the Argent Squire looking to knock away the Wall Pyromancer, and I think effectively that would actually be very devastating. But he opts to go for the Wall Pyromancer using the Taunt Totem instead. So that should still be fine, and here it's it should be a Injured Blade Master play for me. But of course, it could also be a Shadow Word Pain on the 0-3, as well as probably End Turn. So there is nothing else that can synergize in this play. It has to be a one play only kind of thing. And for Demente on the other side, he has a lot of things that he could play next turn, and that includes Chewing Yeti. It also includes the Feral Spirit. No real point to play Feral Spirit right now because he doesn't need the clear board, doesn't need to set up defenses. Normally you want to play Feral Spirit only when you want to set up some form of defense against your opponent who is playing a lot of minions like the zoo whatsoever. But nope, this game doesn't seem like he needs to do that. So he's going for the Chewing Yeti first hand, and it looks to be a pretty good choice so far for him. And Rickardo here is just taking some time to decide what he wants to play for this upcoming turn. Me, I'm just using the luxury time that I have to do slight amendments to the mana bar on the right side. But yeah, Rickardo, heavy duty here. He is the Heroes of New Earth captain for the squad there, and it seems like it's a direct, simple lava burst to pick off the 4-5 there, and dealing more damage. The Shaman is playing a little bit more zoo-like than I prefer, but it does seem to be working out. And Demente is showing again that the Shaman is a very flexible and versatile class. A lot of players kind of drop the Shaman in favor for the Druid, in favor for the Warlock in terms of flexibility. But of course the Shaman is one of the many classes still that has got the potential, as you can see here, for either bot killer mechanic or whatsoever. Shaman generally don't do too well against Druid, but Kriya unfortunately losing out against Demente, that was the start of this entire headache for Impunity. 6-1 it is, and seems like it's gonna be a storm so far. Not much of an answer in the hand here for Rickardo. Probably play the Injured Blade Master, try and heal it up, but it's not gonna be able to pick off the 4-5. It's not gonna be able to kill anything. Might just die to the combined efforts of the 4-5 as well as the 1-1 with the bubble. I'm only guessing that he's looking for a Holy Smite to pick off the 4-5 for the next turn, and because of the mana overload, there is no fire elemental element here. Feral Spirit now would be a pretty good play for Demente, simply because there is a threat that's on the board. He can look to clear that, or he can look towards copying that. It's okay, copying that's a bad call, so maybe not that. Probably Feral Spirit's pretty good. If not, he... Well, the bad thing about playing Feral Spirit, let me just tell you what, is the fact that next turn he cannot play the Fire Elemental, which effectively means he's kind of starved off the next turn. But at least it ensures that he doesn't really have to deal with the Injured Blade Master immediately, and we'll have some form of luxury going forward we're now looking at Rickardo down to just about 15 health here. No Circle of Healing, because if he had that, he would be able to instantly board clear with the Okanai Soul Priest there, as well as the Holy Smite, of course. And that is just bad news here for Rickardo. He can heal up using the Earthen Ring first here, but if he does that, it's only gonna buy him some time, which he doesn't have an answer. Priest is just generally very weak when it comes to board clear mechanic. This is an open secret. So they rely on Wild Pyromancer, they rely on Holy Nova, they rely on stuff like Okanai into Circle of Healing to try and clear the board. However, we saw one Wild Pyromancer down, we see half the Okanai combo in the hand for Rickardo, and we don't see any single indication that there might even be a Holy Nova. So it is going to be a simple knock on the Pharaoh Spirit, as well as using a Shadow of Pain. The Earthen Ring faster to heal up the injured Blade Master. And effectively, he might actually just found a way out of this. He's actually going to use the Holy Smite to pick up the 0-2, which is a clear indicator that he doesn't have any board clear mechanic. And I guess Demente can be very confident knowing that there is nothing of that caliber coming out from Rickardo's side. Effectively here, because of the play in the previous turn, he cannot play the Fire Elemental. That would be the best play in my opinion, to try and pick off the 3-3 or combine efforts with the 4-5 to knock on the 4-6 there and leave the 3-3 a little bit underdressed. It still is okay. It's not a perfect play, but there is no perfect play for Demente this turn. He needs to make some tough decisions, and my guess is that Lightning Storm, yeah, it can be a go ahead, but he needs his Spell Totem again, and even if he gets it, he is gonna need top rolls on the 4-6 to try and maximize damage. Actually, no, he can use the 4-5 to knock into that as well. So yep, he gets a 1-1 totem, so nope, it's not gonna give him any spell damage boost, and definitely not much of an ego boost as well. But we're now looking at potential Stormforge X into something as well. But quickly, I guess Lightning Storm's gonna be used, hoping for top rolls on the Earthen Ring Fuster, and it seems like he doesn't get it as well. The 1-1 picks it up, and the 4-5 kills off the Injured Blade Master. So it's still some form of a board clear mechanic. However, the bad news is that most of the minions there from the Demente side is severely damaged. They're all down to just about 1 health. In fact, it's kind of a hilarious position to be in, but that's okay. So that said, we have the Okanai being played, as well as the healing mechanic turned into weapon to try and pick off the Chewing Yeti. So we have the Lightning Bolt being top decked by Demente. Lightning Bolt can be used to knock on a 3-5, along with the double 1-1s on the field to just nicely kill it off. The other way would be just directly deal 3 damage using the Fire Elemental, as well as double objects on the field. Still pretty good play. I actually kind of prefer the Fire Elemental play a little bit better, because do not Fire Elementals, they don't give you mana overload. And Lightning Bolt can be used for facial damage, and that's what we love to see. So you want to see more spells being thrown in the face of Undoing there, but can that actually happen? That's the question. Effectively, we might actually... There is not much synergy coming from Demente's card in hand. That's the problem here. Whereas for Rickardo, he doesn't even have a hand to begin with. That's like double Thought Still. It's like gambling with what you can get and what you cannot get. Do not Thought Still, if I'm not wrong, copies 2 cards from the deck. So that's completely stuff that he hasn't picked up yet, not in the hand, not stuff that he has played before. And there's a lot of cards that he hasn't played, so this is a pretty good time to play that. He gets a top totem, a spell damage. He's gonna run Lightning Bolt into one of those minions on the field to pick it up, as well as dealing 1-shot damage onto the priest. And now Rickardo picks a top deck Shadow Word Shield, which would have been very useful if only the Okanai survived. However, he doesn't have that luxury there, and he's actually gonna have Thought Steal right now. Picks a Fire Elemental as well as a Lightning Bolt. So we now know that there is 2 Fire Elementals in his deck, as well as 2 Lightning Bolts in this deck for Demente, of which 2 of those cards he has not drawn yet. And I will not be surprised if he opts for another Thought Steal into a heal for himself, I think that's still okay. It's not that big of a problem here for him to deal with. He can also coin into Fire Alley. However, the first player to play Fire Alley in a supposed Shaman mirror matchup normally doesn't get to win it, because the opponent's Fire Alley is gonna just nicely shotgun your own Fire Alley, and a Fire Alley is just gonna die. Fire Alley, of course, is a short form for Fire Elemental. That said, I would much prefer the Double Thought Still, and he gets a very interesting card. It's a Pharaoh Spirit, which you can coin into that, but seeing the priest getting mana overload is just very, very hilarious, as well as the fact he gets a Blood Mage Talnos, which would mean that his Lightning Bolt can deal 4 damage. That's very damaging, because a combo of that, you can say magnitude, can pick off the Fire Elemental. Doom Hammer top deck, and man, that is one of the cards that I wish Rickardo was able to Thought Still out, but I guess he is not able to do that. And now we're now looking at potential Fire Elemental plays here, because there is a lack of better option. If he goes Fire Elemental, at least he can play Stormforge X. If not, he can play Doomhammer into another totem, you know, just trying to complete the family on the board there. The Doomhammer is not enough to pick off any of those doggy by itself. That's the problem that we're facing today. Neither is the Stormforge X able to do that, but at least save some charges on the Doomhammer. Fire Alley would be my play, because I like to kill at least one of those doggy directly, and possibly just Stormforge X up to kill off the other one. The priest is kind of mana overloaded for this turn, which leaves him at about let's say 7 mana, and he cannot pull forth a complete Lightning Bolt Blood Mage Talnos combo into anything at all. So yeah, that's gonna be the bad news there. And so yeah, Demente goes with my play, and Rickardo on the flip side hopefully gets a useful card for this next turn. He picks up a Holy Fire. That's the direct answer that he just needed right there. Heals himself, kills the Fire Elemental, and puts Demente out of juice. Rickardo might just be the weapon that Impunity needed right in the first game. They should have sent him out there to try and at least make sure that, you know, Demente is kind of nerfed in that instance. But here comes the Azure Drake, which draws up a Earth Shock as well as a Taunt Totem being played there. Another Holy Fire. Is he going for double Holy Fire onto the Azure Drake? Nope, he's actually going to play Blood Mage Talnos to pick that out very nicely. And he's also going to use a shotgun on Fire Elemental to just pick off the kill there onto the Spell Totem. Power Word Shield, very useful, draws extra card. Now he gets the Circle of Healing, which should have came a lot earlier and would have saved him a lot of trouble, but it's still okay. Well, top deck's a Hex here for Demente. I guess he's actually gonna copy and Hex it. Would be my play as well. Generally, you create a lot of trouble there, but he's actually gonna first Earth Shock the Blood Mage Talnos, copy the 6/7, Hex it up, and effectively there is no real way here for Rickardo to pick up the 6/7 on the other side of the field, seeing how he just nicely put it out of Holy Fire range with his own Power Word Shield. So he gets another Circle of Healing, which is not going to be healing anybody today. Heals himself up and just ends the turn. That top deck Hex really just saved Demente in the ass. But of course he was bound to get it sooner or later, seeing how this is already past 15 cards mark. Oops. Something just happened there. Alright, that's fine. Let's say Rickardo has double Circle of Healing and might just lose with the priest here as well. 6/7 dealing substantial damage to Undoing there. And Doomhammer gonna run its long course of giving doubles there onto the Rickardo. We have a current Bloodhoof top deck here for Rickardo. At least it's kinda good. He's also gonna have to play Sunfury Protector and heal himself as well. Karn is only going to be able to just nicely avert a little bit of damage away from Demente's side, of course. I'm actually expecting an instant Earth Shock there. Plus a 6/7. Maybe not 6/7. Just using the Doomhammer is good enough. Oh, actually no, it doesn't give a shit because the taunt's gone. It's actually going to go for face, and that would be lethal here. So Demente with 7 wins under his belt. This is really surprising and really good coming up from Demente. He seems virtually unstoppable, and it might just be just to say that Impunity's 4-man team is not able to stop one Demente from Imperium. This is just sheer shock that I'm facing right now. Rickardo not able to stop it as well. This is just pretty interesting and questionable. That said, I'm actually gonna take this time